5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Chief, may I have a riddle for you? What has big round shape, carries man and dog, and flies?
May give up. What has big round shape, carries man and dog, and flies?
You may not know either, but there it is.
It is balloon!
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Go Get Your Shine Box. We're a little late on this one. We had some malfunctions during our normal cast night. Sent out a placer. Everybody probably picked up on that already, so I won't have to repeat it. But as you guessed, we're talking about the balloon again, and it didn't get old. Apparently it didn't get old, because it's still out there in the mainstream media, and we're shooting stuff down left and right. And with that, before we get into it, I'll introduce the fellas. What do you say, guys?
We're doomed. That's what I'm saying. We got to get rid of this administration, or we're done.
First of all, it was a malfunction. All right.
That was clever. That was clever.
China is asshole. I'm Paul, North Jersey. Welcome. And before we get going, I have a unrelated trivia question. Came across the other day, and knowing that we have a few motorheads in our group here, and our followers, and also Joe, I thought I'd bring it up. In relative performance, what's the better increase, from 200 to 400 horsepower or 400 to 800?
Repeat that slowly.
Well, what's going to give you a better relative performance increase, going from 200 horsepower to 400 horsepower in your car, say, or from 400 to 800?
It would have to be the first one that you said, because it doubles your horsepower.
Well, they both double it, but anybody who's ever raced knows that it's incremental. Like if you double your horsepower from 200 to 400, you get a bigger boost than if you go from 400 to 800. The returns are diminishing. It's a diminishing return, and some
kind of like the Biden administration.
Well, that's just what we would call a cluster flop.
And by the way, you said if you ever raced. That's not necessarily true. You mean if you were a mechanic that ever took care of the guy behind the wheel? The guy behind the wheel probably doesn't know what you're talking about.
No. But if you're an engineer and trying to get more performance out of the car, you know what I mean?
Sounds good.
In other words, this is why they take weight out of the car rather than put in more horsepower.
Right. Well, you take weight. Well, it's the same thing when you're flying. You take weight out of your airplane, and you get a faster airplane. Right.
Now, granted, more horsepower is better generally, but after a point, like I said, it's a diminishing return. And I just thought there might be some people out there who would care to know the facts.
Well, you know what? A piece of trivia that seems to appear outside of our expertise is always welcome. And when I say ours, I mean mine.
Yeah, well, you're the driver, right?
Yeah, I'd be the driver. But anyway, that's great. But
let's get right into the balloons here, because there's a lot going on here. Right away, after the whole debacle of shooting this damn thing down after it crossed the country, then right away their response was, well, Trump had balloons crossing the United States. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Trump is not the president. When are they going to stop already?
Well, yeah, they said exactly that. They said approximately 3 balloons. And it's funny you mentioned that, because I have a clip of Chuck Todd talking to Representative Turner, actually.
Well, and also it goes. It's what's really disturbing about that is that nobody in the Trump administration knew balloons went across our country, if they actually did. But the military or whoever was observing these withheld information from the
from Trump administration, if in fact it was true at all.
Yeah,
in fact it was true. So I mean, either way you look at it, it's a big problem.
Let's pause for a moment here while I can bring out one of my other conspiracy theories, and that is you all know about Operation Mockingbird. We've talked about this before, and that can easily be used by the security state to develop narratives to get your attention away from something. Now, it is my contention. You've all heard about the artificial intelligence lately.
Yep.
It is my contention, and I've been following AI for a lot of years, 10 years maybe. About 7 or 8 years ago, they stopped talking about it. I don't know if you've thought about this. It's like the dog that ain't barking. You know, I mean, they're talking about it now with ChatGPT, and it's been released in the public. But the guys who are building AI, they basically stopped talking about it like 2015, 2016. Yeah. Now, why do you suppose that is?
Well, we have.
I think. Sorry, what?
No, so because now we have to marginalize the I guess you would say the advertisement play on it. That's what they're doing it.
Yeah. Well, as far as my inference, intuition, whatever you want to call it, I think that they actually did create a workable AI back then, and the deep state, security state, whatever you want to call it, has weaponized that in an Operation Mockingbird fashion times 1,000 against the public. As a matter of fact, I had that clip of that Palantir guy talking about this and saying that they combined that with all their data, their big data scooping.
Yeah, I caught a piece of that on Mark Dice had a video out that mentioned something like that right after we spoke, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and this guy claimed that they basically destroyed the right-wing populist uprising that was happening, or alt-right, or whatever you want to call it, in Europe, which would have to be through something like that. Anyway.
Yeah. And interesting because when we were talking, I kind of loosely came up with a statement. AI reports superseding Operation Mockingbird in that the massive flow of info from the DoD and the DOJ appear to be AI generated. That's a litmus test for public comment. Hence the reports about the previous administration and 3 balloons, which was quickly debunked.
Yeah. So my point is that we are entering a time when nothing will be believable. Not what you hear on a video or see on a video. There may be, this may be even weaponized down to the individual level where you can't trust a phone call from somebody's voice you recognize.
Yes, you're correct. Let me just throw in a gratuitous correction. Not believable, but believed.
Yes, that's the problem.
Yeah.
But this is going to be requiring, I mean, biblically speaking, that even the elect might be, what is the term? That even the elect might be deceived. And there's a reason that God said that, because this is going to be next level deception. And you're going to have to really work hard to maintain your sanity, maintain your sure-footed.
Well, yeah. To keep your actual sights on the target is going to be. The average person isn't just going to wake up in the morning, get bashed with propaganda, and see the light of day.
Right.
It's not going to happen like that. And it's interesting because this kind of links back. We did our I believe it was episode 10 when we did Operation Mockingbird, and I suggest everybody goes back and listens to that again. What they did, the inception, if you recall, and I know everybody on this call remembers, some of the information was sent out to unknowing yet willing accomplices. So some of the newscasts outlets were not aware that it was misinformation, and some were, and that's what was able to. They were able to propagate a lie, because if you don't know it's a lie, it's so much easier to convince the next guy, and it just went down the road. And then the more scrupulous bunch of them actually knew it was a lie, and they fabricated that and continued. And that's an entirely different kind of immorality.
Yeah, well, think about it this way: if they had used AI for the Russia hoax, say, okay, they send that out to every news outlet, and they find out, okay, who runs with it. Okay, well, CNN, MSNBC, NBC, they find out which reporters working at those at the NYT fall for it completely, and those are the ones that they keep feeding information to.
Well, Joe and I were discussing last week when he was here in person, the council person in New Jersey that was it was allegedly a murder suicide. Every story I found in the first 3 pages of a search were identical. It wasn't. They didn't even bother changing any of the formatting. It was
cut
just
and paste.
Yeah, cut and paste, cut and paste, cut and paste, until we had to go dig to even find the actual political affiliation, which, some people would say, oh, what do you need to know that for? Well, in this day and age, it's kind of important.
Yeah.
And we did, and the killer was a hardcore left-wing Democrat.
Yeah.
We did find that out. So, I mean, was his motive? I don't know, but it's definitely worth looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting a little away from our talking points, but the 3 balloon theory under Trump was kind of debunked. But I'm going to play that piece from Chuck U. Todd, and we can delve in a little bit and see what you think about that. And it's interesting. See how he handled it. All right. All I got to do is find it. Okay.
I think we should have a policy that just anything that enters our airspace that's a balloon from China gets shot down immediately?
Well, first off, you have to understand this administration didn't just fail here. They failed to prepare after the first time this happened during this administration. The administration's already admitted, which I've been briefed on, that China has done this before in the continental United States during this president's tenure.
When did that happen?
You have to let them release it. I can't release classified information, but they can tell you.
We also briefed on that there was apparently 2 or 3 incidents in the previous administration as well.
Well, that's what they're saying now. But I think that the administration needs to come forward, because this is not an ability to say that this is a crisis that was handed to them. This is a crisis that has developed as a result of this president during his administration, allowing China to do a similar act before, not responding, and then clearly in this one, not seeing the urgency of what was unfolding. I mean, the president allowed this to go across our most sensitive sites and wasn't even going to tell the American public. If you hadn't broken this story, the American public would not have even known. There was no attempt to notify Congress, no attempt to put together the Gang of 8. I think this administration lacks urgency.
Well, that was interesting. I think Chuck got his proverbial ass handed to him on that one.
Yeah, and Chuck Todd did not break this story.
No.
Some guy in Montana looking out his freaking office window broke the story.
Chuck Todd breaks wind. That's about it. But yeah.
Can I ask? I'm not able to pull up. I sent you a tweet with a list of things. Are you able to pull that up while we're doing this?
Probably can.
Because I don't think I can read it on my phone.
Yeah, I'll go back to it. Are you talking about the distraction one?
The distraction, yeah. Why this may be happening?
Yeah.
Because of let me see, where is it?
Yeah, I'll read that in a second. Let me finish up this.
I can see some of it, so I can read some.
Let me clear up this the Trump thing.
Yeah.
Anecdotally and factually, under Trump, he's going to be blamed for three such balloons. We can say anecdotally, if Trump had any knowledge of this, he'd have no problem. This is a guy who sent tomahawks to Syria while they were having dessert. So
Right.
But it's the narrative, like you said.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, sure. And the fact is, there was no reports. We didn't hear about it for 4 years. There was no
Right.
public sightings, and obviously that's what triggered everybody to this one. And if like Joe said, if it is in fact true, then who held back the reports?
Right. And then and also why they, I mean, it's like, you remember when we were kids and you did something stupid and you said, yeah, that's because Jim did it.
Yeah.
And then you were like, well, Jim jumped off the George Washington Bridge, would you? You know, I mean, it has nothing to do with that administration. You are the administration. It's your responsibility. We don't care what happened. What happened then doesn't matter. It matters now.
Yeah, that's kind of like what Mike Turner was saying. What, you know, this is on him. This is on him. I had a theory that maybe if it did happen, maybe the ammo was saved to put it, play it as an ace in case something like this happened under Biden, which you knew it was going to, and then they had that, the Trump card, as it were, to fall back on. But
okay, so Trump let it happen. So nothing to see here now. Everything's good. Let's move on. That's just stupid. I mean, they really think that the American people are just stupid, I guess.
Oh, of course.
Well, it's not that they think. They know. Trust me, they've sussed that out pretty good.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But talking about Trump, I mean, think back to the document scandal. How many different narratives did they go through? Oh, he's got nuclear codes there. Oh, he's selling secrets to Russia. They tried like 7 different things until it all fizzled out. Well, I guess they knew what was coming, and they that's how they muddy the waters.
Well, they have to muddy the waters because, and I hate to beat this dead horse, but when your constituency is as a known a low IQ constituency, the muddier the water, the better. And this is also, and everything we say has to go down some sort of rabbit hole. But the fact that illiteracy rates are up in the inner cities, and the fact that they redefine words constantly, those two go hand in hand. That's a psychological operation. If you are illiterate, if 30% of high school kids that come out of democratic inner cities are illiterate, they don't know the difference when you redefine a word. So there's that. Do you want to go ahead and read some of that Twitter take?
Yeah, and this is something that we have to be cognizant of, that all of this, and I said this back when all this UFO crap started coming out from the government, that they were looking to do something sketchy. Now, the pandemic was one way of convincing people to turn over their rights and just do whatever the government says. Another way would be like an alien invasion or something of that nature, right? Now, here are some of the things that are going on that might require distraction, cover up, whatever. We got Pfizer. We got the big thing about Pfizer, about how they lied, and we're talking, discussing at least.
And they're still trying to grab you.
Weaponizing the virus further. We just got the story come out about Seymour Hersh put the Substack article out that appears pretty much legit, that it is, in fact, the Biden administration that blew up the Nord Stream pipeline.
Right.
And good time to have something else happen.
It is balloon.
What else we got? Then we got the Twitter files thing. We got the Congress is having hearings on the Twitter file. Poof, that all disappeared with this story.
Yeah.
Epstein client list is supposed to be at least some of it released. What else we got? Oh, I don't know if you know, but there's a big train wreck in Ohio.
Yeah. And by the way, it leached into Pennsylvania. Yep.
Did it really?
It sure did.
Now I saw it called vinyl chloride. Now, polyvinyl chloride is a name that makes my freaking hair stand up for some reason.
PVC pipe, polyvinyl chloride.
Right, and this stuff caught fire. I mean, have you seen the pictures of the clouds.
It's horrible.
It's
Horrible.
really bad. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and my guess is wherever this happened in Ohio, there's probably a lot of farmland around there. So
East Palestine is it's out there, and like I said, it's not far from Pennsylvania. It actually leached over. They were doing massive evacuations. Some bad stuff.
Yeah, I wonder how that's going to affect farmland and any kind of ranching and.
Well, primarily chemicals.
Food
the chemicals used in making plastics. And again, everything we talk about can go down a rabbit hole. And I'm not going to give you the obvious implications of a chemical used to make plastics, and suddenly it goes poof. So that goes along with the whole food thing. But this is the balloon topic, so we're going to go up instead of down, right?
Yeah.
But geez, oh man, it's what we said. This is. The Operation Balloon is smoke and mirrors. And a quick historical fact, and this is going to link in. I think it was 2021, and I got this out of Politico. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but people need to know. This is a quote from them. The DOJ will no longer use the framework of China initiative to organize or describe our efforts to counter threats by the PRC government. Olson told reporters Wednesday he has announced the result of nearly 4-month-long review of the China-focused programs. We are ending the China initiative.
That's right. We talked about this, remember?
Yep. And people don't know this.
Yeah. Back in the Trump admin, they caught some dudes spying some Chinese guys spying, and I guess they worked out of the Houston embassy. And all of a sudden, big thick smoke started coming out the chimney. They burned all their paperwork and stuff because we were going to close down their embassy.
Yeah, and go ahead, Joe.
Our U.S. government tax dollars are going to fund 2 plants in Michigan that are Chinese-owned battery manufacturing facilities for electric vehicles. Coming soon. How about that?
Yeah. There are some. I'm not sure if it's Michigan, but there are some struggles going on over Chinese-owned assets that are coincidentally nearby to military bases and things of that nature. You got to understand, a large portion of our political establishment are owned either directly or indirectly by China.
Well, these 2 factories, that they're going into Michigan, they're Whitmer backed, so they're definitely going into Michigan.
I thought she was kidnapped. No, that was a failure.
No, that was a Fed nap. You were.
So how does this? So another, they're claiming, jobs, but this isn't jobs. This is the Chinese coming into our country and setting up camp and setting up manufacturing facilities. No, it should. You go to China and buy some property and open up a manufacturing facility over there. See what happens to you.
Well, you can do that, but they're going to put Chinese guys on the board of directors and making decisions.
And then they'll kill you and put you in a camp.
Well, maybe that. Yeah.
Hey, the CCP does not kill dissidents or traitors. You just never hear from them again.
Yeah, sort of like the U.S. government doesn't do that. Yeah. Like the guy who took a Confederate flag into the Capitol and did nothing else. He's got 2 years. He's got 3 years in prison.
3 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't do any of that stuff.
No, you know what? I'm getting off topic, but we need to do something about it. Our political prisoners. So.
I say boycott the new Congress until they do something. But I mean, I'm just talking out, just joking.
Well,
you can't boycott them, but give them a raise until they release the prisoners.
Yeah,
that's more likely. But
anyway, getting back to the balloons, you can't discount the possibility that there is Chinese, balloon spying or drone spying. I mean, drone spying would make more sense because we got so many Chinese operatives. Who's got a dog? Which one?
The problem with drone spying is I don't know that there's any rhetoric called a weather drone. We we've used the ubiquitous benign term of weather balloon for so many years. When people say it, it's like, it's just a balloon. It's just a weather balloon. I don't know what's going on around here. It's just a weather balloon. You know. So why did you shoot down a weather balloon? You know, so and that's, you know, and you have bumbling, you know, Mr. freaking Magoo in the White House. So, you know, he could get away with anything. The guy's been getting away with this stuff for 50 years. And I keep going back to him because this is a big, giant, ugly web of deceit and lies all coming together. And, you know, ultimately we're going to pay for it. But
it's spiraling out of control is what's happening.
It is.
Worldwide. And by the way, the guy, General Dorknick or whatever his name is from NORAD, it fell on his sword over this and said, we apparently we didn't see that. Now they changed the filters on their truck.
Like a TikTok filter.
Right. Yeah.
I have to say, and I don't remember if I said this in the beginning, and it's only been 26 minutes, but there was a lot of other stuff that took place while we were putting this package together. So we don't have all the clips. And we're throwing new information out there as we got it. And I forget the other guy's name that originally a reporter asked him, hey, you know, really cool question, you know, by a mainstream media reporter. Do you have any indications of or GPS location of the balloon? And this is the original balloon from last week. I'm not here to give you GPS coordinates. If you want to find the balloon, just look up, he said. Which is an indictment. And then there's also the part of the historical / competency where they were questioning the validity of waiting to shoot the balloon down. And Biden said he gave the order. So apparently the military and or NORAD said, well, screw you. We'll shoot it down when we want under the guise of it's not safe. And I'm going to play this clip because if some people out there, you know, might have thought something happened that was slightly different, but the narrative has been changed so many times. You have to hear it from the jackass's or the horse's mouth, as it were. So hang on, here we go.
Today, when I was briefed on the balloon, I ordered the Pentagon to shoot it down on Wednesday as soon as possible. They decided, without doing damage to anyone on the ground, they decided that the best time to do that was as it got over water outside within 12-mile limit. They successfully took it down, and I want to compliment our aviators who did it, and we'll have more to report on this a little later. Thank you.
Mr. President, what does this say about China? What's the message to China?
You were saying the recommendation was from your national security.
I told them to shoot it down.
On Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
But the recommendation.
They said to me, let's wait till the safest place to do it.
What does this mean for China, relations with China?
So I mean, there you go. I mean, how many times did he say, I told them to shoot it down? And they didn't. Didn't. And it wound up 7 miles out, like 47 feet underwater off the coast of South Carolina. And then a follow-up, talk about PSYOPs and AI. Oh, by the way, it might have had explosives attached to it.
Right, yeah.
You know, so we can retrofit that.
Yeah.
You know. So now it's, see, we didn't know it had explosives until we shot it down, but it wouldn't have been safe. But now we're sure it wouldn't have been safe. The whole thing is garbage. The whole thing is garbage. And it conveniently, and of course they discovered from some of the investigation when they got the pieces and parts that not only was it a spy balloon, but it had the technology to hone in on individual conversations and track GPS along the way. So pretty scary.
Yeah, well, I don't know enough about signals intelligence to know what they can scrape up at different. Well,
I do. So it's fortunate for the three of us that I happen to know a little about it.
I didn't want to reveal any of your background. I know you're living incognito somewhere on the East Coast of the United States. That's all I'm willing to say.
And there's palm trees. I will tell you, in the 80s, satellites could read license plates. Okay.
Yeah.
So that gives you a little idea.
Yeah, no, I'm thinking more at this point. I realize that the reading thing, but picking up, you know, cell phone calls between military bases or other radio communications, or and de-scrambling them, or who knows what.
And sadly, they probably did it with the help of the United States government.
Yeah, well, they probably got their people in there. Let's be real, you know.
Oh, why wouldn't they? You know, it's free. It's free. Corruption is free in this country.
Yeah, and by the way, you know, there's thousands of Chinese being caught at the border, right? Have you seen that?
No, I have not. But I know there's thousands of Chinese in the United States right now, doing any number of things from running restaurants to laundry and everything in between. And
well,
they're all dedicated to the communist government of China.
Yeah, and that's practically part of the allowance that they get to come here.
Yeah.
They have to agree to the you do this because we got your family here. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah. Final clip, and I was going to play the clown bumper music, because it's one of my favorites of all times as far as press secretary goes. It's Corinne Jean-Pierre. She had an excellent take, and I think this is timely. And I wasn't going to do it because now we're past the original balloon, but this is precious. She's just so fun. She looks like a little Raggedy Ann. Here we go.
Is this the first Chinese balloon that the U.S. identified flying over U.S. airspace under this administration?
So what I can say is that we have talked about China's balloon program. We have generally on this, the Chinese surveillance balloons program has been around for some time. We even briefed Congress this past August. So I don't have any specific on any other balloon during this president's administration.
She was so tempted to come out and say, "Well, Trump had him." You could hear.
I was waiting for that.
She's just, I have nothing. Well, apparently there was a series of 40-some balloons that giant size that were all over several countries or more, all at the same time, and everybody knows it.
Except nobody noticed it.
Yeah, nobody notices it. So,
I mean that's possible.
Yeah. We don't.
This one guy could have got lucky, you know. But
didn't they say this one happened to be at 60,000 feet?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the one that was the size of a car most recently was about 40,000 feet, and they got their stories mixed up on that, whether they could shoot it, shouldn't shoot it, and then apparently, blackface Trudeau himself put in a request for Bite Me to send an F-22 and shoot down another one on the Canadian side.
Is this the cylindrical shaped? You notice that they take that right out of the UFO thing?
Yeah.
A cylindrical shaped object, you know? I'm like, yeah okay.
I thought that took her out of F Troop.
And then,
it is balloon.
Not only that, but now we've got sources say that observers could discern no means of propulsion or navigation.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I'm waiting for the AI generated deep fake landing, you know, with the greens coming out and asking for our surrender.
Well, what better way to obfuscate and throw up the smoke and mirrors than to suddenly call them UFOs?
No, you know what's going to happen? They're going to come out and they're going to say, our fleet is waiting, but we'll pass you by if you will just take this Pfizer jab. Yes. We don't want you. We realize you're about to leave the planet, and we don't want you spreading your germs throughout the galaxy.
Yeah.
You will take this jab or else.
Well, and I'm also waiting for Biden to send a check to China to reimburse them for the damaged balloons.
That's great. Yeah. We want that balloon cost 2 billion yen. Interesting. Yeah, I think the Pfizer jab is the litmus test for the mark of the beast. You know, I mean, let's put it in meat. You're going to get it one way or another, boys. You know.
Well, if we ain't approaching the end times, it's definitely a scrimmage or a practice session.
Practice run.
Yeah, this is the devil's practice run, and this ain't flag football. That's for sure. So anyway, I think we want to get off.
Yeah, sorry, that reminds me. Maybe we can talk about World War III next time.
No, it's coming. Promises. But yeah, we popped this balloon a couple of times, and don't forget you can reach us on all your favorite podcast sites and buy us a coffee and the whole 9 yards. And we'll also release on YouTube and the Rumble. And contact us at shineboxcontact@gmail.
Yeah,
we appreciate you.
Don't forget to hit that like button, man. Hit the like button. Share it around with your friends and family. Let's grow this thing, and maybe we can forestall the end times between the bunch of us.
If not, we'll at least have you well informed. And
Yes.
And because we had to push this out because of technical difficulties, doesn't mean we're not going to do our normal release this Wednesday. So stand by, look forward.
We'll come up with something.
This is the boys from Go Get Your Shine Box signing off.
Piss off, YouTube.
Hasta la vista, baby.